what the heck is this? Be a pretty snug fit, but it's oil pressure. Alright, so now comes the fun part where you get to figure out where exactly you want to mount these. So for me, I want to mount them right in here. And then for this piece here, we're going to take this out and just disconnect everything. And we're going to put in another custom piece in here for our switches. Out. There we go. Japanese plastic. One of the things I never liked about them. There we go. This is the only thing we need to take out. But no, that decided to break. I don't know. I'll play with this, see if I can fix it, I guess. Yeah, I wish they just made it this easy. I mean, it's kind of my fault that trim broke because I didn't know what I had to do. But on the flip side, it really is easy to take this trim out. Look at that. So here's our green cable, and then over here is our red cable. Alright, so this is what I've came up with. So I've got some just normal brackets you find, you know, for house 90 degrees, and just bent them on the ends. So then these bottom holes in here are gonna fit into the two radial holes, and then I've added like washers as a way of spacing it in and out, and just kind of eyeballed the line up. And I should have made this slightly wider so these two mounts are pretty far on the edge, but well, it should be good. I decided to go on this flat side here, just mainly because it kind of mats the finish of all this other. Go ahead, throw this in. I'm just using the original OEM screws. Kind of got a problem on this side being a little snug, but it's okay to be a little snug. This isn't like a super flush finish. That, and we kind of got the screws poking out here, and we can bend it to we can bend those clamps to kind of point more top this way. So I think we'll go ahead and kind of do some more tuning with this, and then we'll go ahead, mask the box in here, and then go to mount our little gauges. Alright guys, we got it kind of mocked up here. This is going to be the final look at this. I've added like washers to like back it up, trimmed a little bit over here just so we could have room for the, this kind of has a big little box right here, so we had to trim a little bit for that. But I mean, that looks super nice and more professional than I think it is. So our little gauges here, we're gonna have 3 of them. We'll have one up in this corner, we'll have one up in this corner, one in the middle, and then one on this side. And then we'll have whatever switches we need right below those. So one for the gauges, one for the gas, one for maybe ignition or anything like that. And then we might actually have enough room to put in a master cutoff if we ever get to that point. Let's go ahead, take this trim off, and start cutting holes for our gauges and our switches. So we're just gonna, this is kind of where you can get all creative and whatnot, how you want to place them. I'm gonna place it almost directly under the switch, so then I can put this one in between the two. There's our second hole. some race car stuff right there. That out. Nice. Alright, so the next step now is just getting all of this wired in. This here, I'm going to make our fuel cutoff switch. So I'm going to get a little print thing that says gas right here. And then this switch here will be our power for these lights here. Since sometimes, like, you can wire them in so when your headlights are on, not up like mine, but they're on, then they'll turn on. But I want to see them like at times, but I don't want them to be on all the time. So go ahead and take this out, start putting in our wires to mount our gauge. Green signal wire. Now remember, these are just the wires we got from the engine. These are just the signal wires, right? These aren't for power. It's just signal. So we need to go and wire in power cables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into this 12 volt 10 amp fuse for the cigarette lighter. Now when the gauges are on, I cannot run anything from the 12 volt insert and the gauges at the same time. That will probably trip the fuse given the fact that this wire isn't thick enough. And that's how fire starts. Now you go in there and you put like a 15 amp fuse. That's all good and it would probably work, but you run the risk of starting a fire. Because the more current you run through your cable, the hotter your wire is going to get. And that's how fires start. So what we got, I ran out of red wire. So I've got this green wire here. I'm not using black. I've got this green wire here, and this will be our new hot wire. And then I have my favorite friend, a quick connect. So we'll run this quick connect onto our power back, and then we'll run our new cable in here. And then it's just a matter of clamping down. So now this is our hot wire. So now we'll run this to the off side of our switch. On the top side of our switch, we'll go ahead and run our hot cable here. This guy. Line. So we have an on side and an off side. I'm going to run our hot on the off side, and then all the other stuff will be on the on side. Now on the other side of this, we'll go ahead. These cables are probably way too long. This is our wire that will connect to the switch. Doesn't need to be too long. A plug-in for the gauge, and then this is our signal wire. So this will actually read the PSI or temperature and all that stuff. So we'll make this long to get to the other cables. We'll take this, and we will hook up more to this, but I'm just gonna do this one. So, go. Alright, so now that we got our two signal wires, right? These are not hot wires, these are signal wires. And I got two connectors here, male and female. So go ahead, guys, in there. Alright, so with our two cables here, go ahead, pop them together. So this will be our temperature sensor. Neat, tidy. That cable finished up. We'll connect all the grounds into one spot. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process for all three sensors, and then we can finally finish installing our whole plate and everything. We'll go ahead and I'm just going to cut forward everything I just did. You're basically going to do that just for each sensor. I've got these wires color coded. So this green one is oil temperature, the blue one is water temperature, and the red one, oil pressure. This is gonna be more simple if you just use different colored wires for your signal, but I ran out of wires, so I'm just signaling them. So then here is our ground. We got all three connected to the metal part of the car. And then our hot wire is all three of them are connected to our switch. So now it's just the process of installing them and just stuffing it all in there. It looks messy, and it is, because I'm trying to do this in a rush, but believe me, when you guys go through this process, you'll understand it too. It's always hard to figure it out in your head, but just trust me that when you get to this part, you'll know what you're doing at this point. We got like one set here, and then one set here. So, with that said, now we get our toggle panel here. We're gonna go ahead and start installing our gauges. So here's our oil temp. We've got these little bars here. With these bars, they're gonna come up like so, and they should keep this in. Okay, here we get our oil temperature, water temperature, and there you go. So those are all clicked in. That's in. Oh yeah, baby! Look at that. That is sick. I do that again. Nice. You guys are wondering what that is? That's the fuel cutoff switch. I got that in there. If I flip that up, it turns the fuel pump on in the back. So sweet.